Hello and welcome to episode 179 of the Foundry Roundtable, the podcast exclusively covering the Foundry for Star Trek Online. And once again, we can actually say that and be correct and true. Because the Foundry is back.
Yay!
Cheers, yes?
Yay!
People cheer? Okay. So, of course, I am your famed Foundry author, Drogyn1701, and with me are three guys who are just absolutely desperate to get back in the Foundry, right?
Yep.
But what do you mean desperate to get back in the Foundry? I did that already.
I put in some
Well, it has been up for a
sessions.
few days, so it's not like, it wasn't today that it just came up. So, of course, I should name these three desperate characters: Greendragoon, Markhawkman, and DuncanIdaho.
Yo.
Been a while since we've done an actual regular show with the Foundry up.
Yep.
We're a little out of practice. Although I have to say, in reference to our previous show that we did, we actually got a really roundabout tweet from John Delancey recognizing the show that we did.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so what was it? It was Legion of Myth retweeted our live play of Star Trek Borg, and then John Delancey tweeted them and said something like, "Oh my, that was such a long time ago."
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, on to more pressing matters. So since the Foundry is back up, we are going to be moving along with our 26th Century Anthology and Challenge. We're going to be starting the challenge after Christmas. Obviously, nobody expected the downtime to go quite this long.
Yeah.
So we're running up against the holidays here. I'm going to be gone next weekend, and obviously Christmas is the weekend after that, so other people might be gone. And so just to be fair to everybody, we're going to start it right after Christmas.
Sounds good.
And that'll give some time to collect all of the materials that we all need and formulate the nice challenge post, which gives everybody the mission prompt to go out and create. But we have an awesome prize. So folks who would like to have an awesome prize and create a fun Foundry mission for the 26th Century, stay tuned.
I think you guys have told me what the prize is, and I forget.
I think I
can
remember
probably
what the prize is.
I can probably reveal what the prize is, just to get people interested. It is a Geordi LaForge holographic bridge officer.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
It is cool.
Johnny Snowball was kind enough to secure a couple of keys for us at Star Trek Las Vegas that we got permission to use as giveaways. So
Cool.
our mission winner, as will be voted by the community, will be able to win that bridge officer.
And AEI Judge Cat stands ready in case we get a tie.
Mm-hmm.
I know that because she's right now trying to eat my arms, so I can't even reach towards the keyboard.
Well, let me tell you the best thing about the Geordi bridge officer, it is customizable.
Oh, yeah. You can put it in the scan.
I put mine in a scant. I'm a horrible person.
Well, it's period appropriate.
Yes.
So Geordi and the Doctor both to do with.
You could,
be done with
you
as
could
you
put the
please.
Doctor in a scant, couldn't you?
You could.
That's
There's
horrible.
nothing stopping you.
Actually, on one of my characters, I have the Doctor wearing a Crenum uniform, of all things.
Yeah.
So we can't make actual Crenums, so I just have a bunch of guys with trill spots, and then the Doctor, like they stole his program or something.
You're just tagging along.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess we don't have the face thingies for the Crenum, do we?
No, sadly not.
Yeah.
We could do with another pass through of alien parts.
Yeah, just general for the main game too. It's
Yeah.
Credit bits.
That's what I was thinking about, because I don't remember ever seeing those in the costume creator, even for the non whatever
Yeah.
stuff.
We got them as options for Crown and Bridge officers, and they're kind of nifty. But yeah, it would be interesting.
It's not one of the larger makeups that they did, or the more involved makeup for alien races.
Yeah.
But it's slightly unique. So I just kind of use trill spots and then cover things up with hair and whatnot.
Yeah.
But anyway, obviously the other thing going on right now, of course, is the winter event, which I have to say congrats to Green Dragoon, because you totally called that we were going to get a T6 version of the Breen Raider.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like
logical.
super obvious.
Yeah.
It was like the last Breen ship to get converted to T6, and
Well, hey, if you miss the obvious ones, then you really got something bad going on. But what are they going to do after this? Because I think we're about at the end of the T5 Breen ones, unless they just create some more random T6s.
Yeah. Well, they did that with
or
the
move to another race.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it would be a good opportunity to expand, because I mean they've been doing Breen for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, and they've
There's
already
no
moved off
telling
the
what
horizon.
they're going to do. I'm sure they already have a plan for what they're going to do, but of course they're not going to tell us.
Naturally.
I've got it. A Gormagander. Which okay. So if you haven't been watching Star Trek Discovery, this will be a tiny little spoiler. At one point, a character who shall remain nameless uses basically a space whale to get on board the USS Discovery. So T6 playable space whale.
That would be pretty fun.
Have I ever mentioned how many times I have wanted to shoot that character?
Well, you're supposed to.
A lot of people think that this Andorian ships might be the next winter event. So it still kind of maintains the ice theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's just like, it's a Fed ship, but I mean, they've branched out with stuff before. I mean, the Tal Shiar was, the first set of Romulan ships prior to the Romulan Republic. So there's always a little bit of wiggle room crypt you can choose to apply or not.
Now, one thing I am kind of wondering about maybe, though, is if they will do something that's, I guess you could say, just completely new, as in new game feature kind of thing. Because every time they make a Breen ship, uses something that they've already put in as a game feature, like intel seating or command seating or now pilot seating. Not temporal, because the Breen hate that stuff, but you see where this is going.
Well, they still don't have a Breen miracle worker ship, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. I mean, because if they do a new dreadnought style thing, they could make it a miracle worker thing. Actually, you know what? We don't actually have a Breen heavy cruiser, and it seems like all the miracle worker ships so far have been heavy cruisers.
I mean, we got the Breen dreadnought.
Cryptic, if you're interested, if you're listening to this, don't do any of this, because it's not interesting. Let's do something more interesting than Breen. Next time. That's my opinion.
Yeah, just because it's one of those things where it's just like, you can only do a ship, species so much that's off faction before it just basically it's point of diminishing returns, where it's like, it's cool.
We probably have more Breen ships than we have any other non-faction species.
Zindi, we've got 4.
Well, technically 6.
Oh yeah, because the tier 5.
Yeah, they have tier 5s.
Tholian's got a bunch. I mean, you've got 4 there. Well, only 4 there. So you've got the Widow, the Science Vessel, the Carrier, and the Dreadnought.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, who knows? Hopefully they'll move on, but yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. In any case, obviously you can play fun winter events and earn the new Breen ship. So, I thought since this episode we finally have the Foundry back, we ought to celebrate it by doing some stuff in the Foundry. So, Dragoon, why don't you start loading up the Foundry?
All right. Goodbye, winter event.
There are a few errors that have cropped up.
In grand total, I've discovered 3, but all of them are non-critical, and I think they all go back to the same source.
Okay.
So, and I did get a little confirmation from Zero prior to the Foundry coming back online when I was doing some triple testing, that the issue that we're seeing now is related to what they were trying to fix to bring the Foundry back online. So it's not like it's an additional new thing. It's the same thing. It's just now it doesn't crash the game. So when you start the Foundry, everything will look normal, editor perfectly fine. When you go to preview now, you will see something, and we'll show you exactly what you're going to be dealing with, but you basically just click OK and you'll be fine. Or click OK, get into the map preview, Alt-Tab out, then Alt-Tab back in, then you're perfectly fine.
So what I thought we'd do is we'd run through all the kind of things that you can do typically in a Foundry session, and the errors will crop up. We'll see them, and we can see what the effect of those are.
Yeah, and we can basically just say, don't panic, the Foundry's still okay. We can make stuff. Publishing works. That preview works. It's all good.
Which, by the way, I saw Purity 6 survive the republish this time.
Yes, I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, all my missions got auto-republished too. Yeah, so everything good to go there.
I did notice that the bug that has been redirecting all of the notification traffic to the Champions Online server is still in effect. Yeah. Although I did also notice that my last mission republish actually went pretty quickly. I started the republish, switched to Champions, and a few minutes afterwards, I got a mail message in Champions telling me that it published.
Yeah, so the one thing I'll just say for all the miscellaneous bugs that we had before, Cryptic didn't fix anything else besides getting the Foundry back online. So, and that was a major challenge.
The showstopper bug needed to be fixed.
Actually, there were multiple showstopper bugs that came up. So that's why it was a 2-month downtime, is that they kept at, they didn't know everything they had to fix until they got to the next layer of what they had to fix. So things got really messed up, and they got everything working again. And it's huge props to the devs for putting the time in, especially, just between Thanksgiving and the holidays. It's kind of a rush, especially getting the winter event out. Getting everything back online.
So it is you can't see the arrow because it's outside of the game client.
Okay.
But I can switch over and show it to you this way.
I made a nice little picture of what the error message looked like.
Yeah, and I've got it showing now.
So once you start map preview, just before you spawn in, there's going to be an error saying that, it can't find certain map and certain other thing. It's meaningless now. So that used to crash the game. Now it doesn't. For whatever reason, and Cryptic wasn't able to go into tech details about what exactly is going on here. So the thing to do is basically you'll see the error message pop up every time you hit preview, click OK. And then you're perfectly fine. The one thing I'll note is that when that happens, something is not going right with the interface for mouse movement and controls. So when you start back in, it's going to be a little weird if you use mouse movement to look around. The cursor will be on the screen, and it'll hit the edge, and you won't be able to rotate anymore. The way to fix this is to either hit the Windows button and then immediately get back into STO, or Alt-Tab to a different program, or the desktop, then get back into STO. Taking it out of that primary program window and then putting it right back in is basically resetting the interface for whatever it needs to actually work properly. So just if you have that problem where you're trying to rotate the camera around and it seems like it's being wonky, Alt-Tab to a different program and then come right back in. It should be fine.
All right, so I'm going to have Dragoon run through some various things that one might normally do here for a nice Foundry session. Okay. So let's.
I was going to say one other thing is the minimap breaks. It'll still show indicators and whatnot, but you'll just see this SRC loaded all over the place.
Yeah. And that could be a result of what the game's trying to find when the error message comes up. So these could all be attributable to the same source. But Cryptic was able to. They weren't able to fix everything, but they were able to get everything working sufficiently that you can get back into the Foundry, and you can publish missions. This doesn't affect the live game. You don't have to worry about any of this for a published mission.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had played a mission and seen if the minimap still functions.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of tribble testing, and I've also tested a bunch of missions during following downtime.
Good.
So we are perfectly fine for everything in the main game. Cryptic is still waiting on basically us for to bring Dragoon back online.
Okay.
Everything looks okay. I haven't had any issues with live plays, but we do encourage authors to go out there and do more playtesting just to be absolutely sure nothing's completely gone wrong.
I will say when I first loaded up the Foundry, I did run into an issue where in space my ship wouldn't maneuver.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's an older bug, and I think if I exited it out and back in, it was fine.
Yeah, and yeah, that's an older bug. So that's the one thing to note too with playtesting the Foundry right now. Double check to the bug forums, the bug master list, and chiming in on those is perfectly fine. But if there is a serious problem, we do want to sort of draw attention to it in the sense of if it's a new bug. If it's an old one, there's workarounds to it. New bugs, we want to pay real close attention to those because those could be very problematic.
Yeah, and of course there's the standard thing of check to see if there are any new glitches and things that just happen to get broken. Because you never know since what exactly is going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're going to run through various different things tonight here. So, I know Dragoon is
testing ground
currently
map
trying
right
to
now.
testing your ground map. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing as space maps. Still workable, but obviously slightly annoying, but not so show-stopping. Okay, what did you have in mind?
Okay. So first things first, let's build a costume.
Okay.
So, suggestions? What costume should he build?
So something new, like the T6 Range Raider.
Okay, let's start with this. Let's start with the space.
Wait, do we have the Raider yet? I know we have other things.
Let's find out.
I thought we did. I don't know. We could check to see if it's there.
Check to see if it's there. If not, you can check out the Zenkathi ships.
Couple versions of...
This also gives us a chance to see what is new.
Because new stuff is awesome and useful.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I don't think the new Breen ship is in yet.
No.
Because we've only got the one Raider. So you scroll down to Zenkathi.
Okay, let's see.
I also checked for the Miracle Worker ships, and as far as I saw, I didn't see them in there.
I have to say that new Romulan Warbird, that's an interesting looking ship.
Especially the very downward nacelles. Or wings.
It's not a ton of
I'm not sure
customization
the fighter
options,
is
of course.
For Zenkathi?
Yeah.
So there's the two variants.
Yeah, but I don't see
One
anything.
of the first. Okay, yeah, for the first one, then the second one, because I was playing around with the fighter. Oh,
It just keeps putting me on to the second one. No options.
Oh,
Okay.
is it one of those glitches where there's several menu options, but when clicking on the menu options actually gives you the same thing?
no, it's completely blank.
Yeah, they're both blank.
Oh boy, no.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's a little sad because I was actually just able to I was able to take a screenshot of those guys just prior to the.
Oh, we do have the brand new Dreadnought that just came out,
We do have the Dreadnought.
and it's freaking
Oh,
huge.
Okay. That's actually odd. I just swapped to I swapped to the cruiser, then back to the fighter. The fighter then came up.
Oh, fight
I'm
it.
looking
Okay,
at it now.
a little weird. Okay,
That's-
yeah, it's working for me. now.
Yeah. So it sounds like one of those things which is not doing the database entries right.
Yeah, so
I think they've got a duplicate entry and it screws everything up when you select it.
Yeah, so it screws everything up if you selected the first one first. So if you want the Breen Fighter, go with the second one.
Weird.
We'll have to let.
Well, we got everything from the Dreadnought, Battleship, Frigate, and Cruiser.
Yeah, and the fighter if you use the right.
And the fighter.
Yeah, and yeah, I haven't seen anything else in there that's terribly new. As a reminder, because players may not have used this before the Foundry went offline, we do have the Kobayashi Maru.
We also have the Tellarite Flight Deck Cruiser. I've seen that in there.
Sona Vessels and the Sona Collector. This was actually, I don't think this has been released as a playable ship by the time the Foundry went offline. Because remember, like
possibly, yeah,
it came out before the ship was announced, and I'm going to just actually play with something right here because it used to crash whenever I tried to do one of these options. Sails out. Okay, yeah, that just doesn't do anything now. Okay, it is safe to use. No longer will actually kill you.
Let's see. What else was in new stuff?
Yeah, so we've got those flight deck cruisers. Those are the last sea store ships besides the Miracle Worker ones.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I mean, you got all the 26th century vessels now.
Trying to think what the other one was. The Suliban, right?
Yeah,
Suliban Silic Cruiser. There it is. Yep, that one works. And let's see, what was the other one?
Do we have? Yeah, the Tal Shiar.
It was Orion.
I think we've also should probably note that these have been in there for a little while, but the tier 6 Tal Shiar ships were added a while ago. Those were a little bit more vaguely. Yeah, I think they're more recent.
Oh yeah, fairly recent.
Yeah.
But doesn't seem to be giving us too many errors here, so that's good to know.
Nope. I haven't, besides the weird thing where if you do preview and then back to the editor, object rotation can be a little weird. That's why you have to do the Alt-Tabby thing. But the one thing I'll note there is that I'm playing on window maximized. So if you don't have it, that might be why. It could be just be that playing window maximized and then doing all this stuff can cause some issues.
Well, and it appears that, as you were saying earlier, no previous bugs got really fixed.
That includes the map transition bug.
It also
actually,
includes, hang on, the one where if you're trying to zoom with your mouse wheel, it'll lock to 100% zoomed in.
Yeah, that
annoys the crap out of me.
Yep, that would be a nice one to get fixed. But I've kind of adapted to using the scroll bar at the top. Yeah.
Another thing that's kind of annoying is how the way it's currently set up, it's not failing to transfer Foundry characters anymore. It's simply not trying. It doesn't even bother giving you the map transition messages anymore.
Yeah, so map transitions still don't work. There was actually a patch note about those prior, but there may have been some variety of issue that prevented them from doing it's actually implementing that fix.
Because when I was doing the playtesting earlier, I noted that instead of having it give you the map transition message and just simply not transitioning you when you click the button, it just doesn't give you the message anymore. Which means that you won't see map transition dialogues when you're doing your playtesting.
Nope. Although that was actually the case during playtesting prior to the fact. I believe it just basically, if you got to the end of a mission, it would just basically just absolutely nothing. So yeah, so it's still one of those things where you want to pay real close attention to that. especially when browsing through your story tab prior to publishing, just to make sure that all the map transition dialogues are in there. And then once you actually can play the mission after it's published, go ahead and do that, not only just to see if everything's working, but also to make sure that the story flow and gameplay flow works fine. Because sometimes it can be a little difficult to get a good handle of that when you're testing maps individually.
Okay, so here's something that is quite new. The Federation Type 7 shuttle.
Oh!
The little TNG shuttle we got for the anniversary, the TNG anniversary.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Oh, wait. Just
clamshell guy.
Just above it. We did get something. Oh, it doesn't work. Federation Miracle Worker Dreadnought has a listing, but it's not hooked up to anything.
Just the engine those. Well, which means they'll go through and fix it at some point.
Yeah. Because those are nifty ships.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Dragoon, let's move on to ground costumes.
Okay.
See what we got available here.
As far as I know,
I wouldn't expect for new stuff, but
there.
Always good to take a look through.
I've been taking a look at this for most of what I've been doing in the Foundry recently, and that's the one thing that hasn't been updated, except for one thing in the facial options for all species. And this goes along with the main game. We now have the Lucaria eyes, aka small eyes, small pupil. So that's a new option, and that actually is pretty nifty for aliens.
So let's see. So that's under eyes, humanoid, small iris.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's a little bit different looking, isn't it? Doesn't quite have the nice solid color palette that the Lucari in game have.
You can actually you can replicate it, but you need an alien.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking through.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was able to screen replicate it. So I'd take a screenshot of what I was able to do in the Taylor and Kamarke. You can replicate Lucari eyes completely.
Of course, we are talking about the guy who thought because complaining that you couldn't get the Shade of Discovery uniform quite right.
Hey, maybe it's my brain is just has the colors wrong.
Well,
it's all in perception, man.
I did make one interesting observation about the Klingon Discovery boots, namely that they actually look really good on Orions.
That's a good question. Do we have the Discovery uniform yet?
I don't think so.
No.
Nor the stand. And I'm the one thing I'll note is that Zero did want to get some stuff into us for the downtime, but wasn't able to.
It's entirely possible she had, shall we say, better things to worry about.
Well, yeah, the producering.
Worse things to worry about.
Getting the Foundry back, and that was, a big push, so definitely appreciate it.
I was going to go with getting the Foundry back.
Yeah.
It's not like she's got an entire job outside of getting us Foundry stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And, she did host a class, so, Cryptic devs, if you want to, just keep putting stuff in there.
It should be pointed out that they also have been working on demo record.
Yeah.
Because there's been some errors with that they've been doing, which is great because at some point I remember them saying that they were not going to be supporting that tool. and now here they actually are a little bit. So that's very nice of them.
Well, it's one of the strengths of Stowe and the Cryptic games in general. So it's good that they were willing to take a little extra time and go in there. I don't know.
One interesting thing about the demo record thing is that apparently that whatever they did with demo record wasn't just Stowe. It was actually both Stowe and at least Champions Online. Not sure if it's Neverwinter too.
Well,
I
it's a
wouldn't
shared.
be surprised if there's crossover, between Stowe and the other games for demo record, just like there is for the Foundry. Not that I know anything about how any of this works.
Space magic. You put the hamsters in, they do something, and gameplay comes out.
Well, I mean, what I was thinking is that there may actually only be one demo record tool, period.
It's entirely possible.
Well, I mean, it's all the same engine. And in fact, what was going on with the Foundry was engine specific, so it was handed off to the core team, who maintains and develops for the engine itself. So it was a fix that actually had to go outside the Stowe team itself.
Yeah, and one hypothesis about why the Foundry downtime was so bad is that something in the engine was getting confused as to which game it was playing.
I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure if that's the correct answer, but it's, I don't know.
Anyway, what do you want me to test next?
Well, next, let's build some maps. Let's build a space map from scratch here.
Put all the bits in.
So what sort of space map should Dragoon build?
Let's see. I'm going to go with an asteroid nebula, or asteroids in the nebula, because if something is going to break the Foundry,
it's going to be nebula stuff.
It's going to be nebula stuff. Lots of small objects.
Damn that nebula stuff.
Ironically, I already built this in MIDAS Part 3.
Oh yeah, I saw some screenshots for that.
So then you just make another one.
Make it from memory.
And just load up their project. See, guys, it doesn't break.
Well, I think building from scratch is a little bit more of an effective test.
Yeah.
I think we'll run into more errors if there are any to run into.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bit of a flat field. But
well, it doesn't have to be fancy. So, on a scale from 1 to Mariachi Q, how happy are you guys to have the Foundry back?
Not quite not quite Q. I mean, it's great. It's just right now I'm not in a really good place to start crazy building. I've got to ease myself back into it.
Yeah, it's going to take me a little while to.
I mean, we've all not been around it for so long here.
Yeah, and I ended up having some pretty big projects and a bunch of those too. So it's hard to sort of dig into that because it's just this tidal wave of content, and with your real life stuff, it's just I don't it's just more. It's more work. It's fun work, but
real life stuff as well. I mean, we got the holidays here, and this the whole reason that we're doing this on Monday instead of our usual Saturday is that I had our huge local basketball tournament to cover for the newspaper. So, and then you had family visiting yesterday, and your internet went out.
And my internet went out. It's back up today. It started coming back up yesterday, so I was able to catch the tail end of the cryptic stream.
Mm-hmm.
Look, guys,
it ended up being fortuitous because obviously we weren't doing anything during the cryptic stream.
That was fun.
Look, guys, I can run multiple nebulas on top of each other without crashing my computer.
You'll just kill my frame rate.
Doesn't even lag.
Oh, rubbing it
you
in.
Mr. Fancy?
It is bright.
Yeah, so I mean, it's obviously not something you really want to go overboard with when you're building.
You will specifically
because it just white out for one thing.
Well, I mean,
and kill some people's machines.
Like that old bug that we had in the Borg alerts where if you looked in a certain direction, your frame rate would plummet because there's that one cloud asset where it had this like geometrically excessive. Wait, what? No, that's not the right way of explaining it. The geometry for it was an order of magnitude more complicated than it should have been. So the game, instead of drawing a single cloud, was actually trying to draw like a giant stack of clouds on top of each other. It's just like weird and stuff, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay, Dragoon. Why don't you add some rudimentary objectives to this map?
Okay. All right, well, let's do a reach marker. Let's do a dialogue with contact. Throw in a interact for good measure. And a pop-up dialogue. All right.
Yield invisible object.
Actually, that's one of those things where you just kind of like wonder if it's actually properly invisible sometimes because, you know.
We're gonna need NPC group. Let's just make it Orion's. No, let's do a frigate group. More ships.
You ever get to the end of a space map and it's just like completely covered in invisible objects? Is that what you use for your objectives and triggers?
I usually end up having quite a few map dialogues scattered around the map.
My space maps tend to be pretty neat. I haven't gotten too overboard with most of them.
Of course, I've done several times now one of those things where you do like in-map transitions where you go from one system to another and do the whole drop out of warp, go back into warp, everything appears and disappears thing.
Yeah, I do that multiple times, and then that's when a map gets a little crazy.
A little crazy. Just making sure all that works is the fun part.
Funny enough, it actually kind of goes into what I've been working on this week, for what little time I've had in the Foundry. I started working on the big recap for part 3, where it does the last time on, and then shows all the different scenes. So that has a lot of multi-map on a single map, as I have to load in each of the different scenes.
I thank you for that, because I, for one, probably won't remember that much about your 2 previous parts.
What you could do is just...
Because it's been like a year since...
it has been longer than a year.
4 years since I played the first one.
Yeah, the best you get... Well, actually, beforehand, you could just say, if you need a recap, just search Legion of Myth on YouTube. Although, I don't think... I don't think people would necessarily go for that, but it could be something you throw up on Twitter prior to release.
Oh, Duncan, you said you had heard some reports of the teaming bug was back.
Yep, teaming bug has been confirmed to be back, so it's just one of those things that just falls in the bucket of things that wasn't fixed while getting the Foundry back online. So,
although interestingly enough, we had no problem with teaming bug.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the problem with it.
Last time we tried
It's
something.
super intermittent.
yeah, and the people that were doing the testing, I met something on the forums. He had a 5-person group, and
Matt Johnson, BA. He's one of the SRS guys.
Yeah. He was doing it in a group of 5, and they were having super problems with it during peak hours, and then once they were playing off peak for server load, it was fine. So it seems like one of those things, the more server traffic there is, the more likely it happens.
Yeah,
So,
that which kind of goes back to my old theory about how it's actually a form of lag causing it.
yeah, so it's one of those things where CrypticPwn needs a little bit more data. So I'm going to say, let's keep up with the live plays for Foundry missions, and every time the teaming bug happens, we get a timestamp. So we know what day, what time exactly it happened, and then the circumstances of what kind of map to what.
Yeah, at this point, I'm thinking it's not the what map to what.
Yeah, but it's just as much information as possible, but as neatly presented as possible, because it would just fit in a Excel spreadsheet as another couple of rows or columns.
Data points or what have you.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be
The more
something.
information they have, the better.
Yeah. It's basically all we can also put down too. So I just think it would just help, very least to illustrate that, hey, we can actually do a correlation analysis, and it actually has no effect.
Yeah, I mean, if we get reports of people having the issue like 10 in the morning, then it's probably not server load related.
Yeah, so just as much data as possible just to help Cryptic sort through, because if we give them timestamp information, they might be able to coordinate that with some of the stuff that's happening behind the scenes. So just something to keep in mind for future, and for players who are doing teaming, just taking a quick note what time it happens, and then what we can maybe do eventually is just to post a thing on the forum with a open Google Doc spreadsheet for people just to throw data into.
Got to hook up my initial trigger.
Yeah.
Oh.
For this masterpiece of a mission I just built here.
There's always
Well,
something.
I'm going to say this looks pretty darn snazzy for something that you just threw together. Yeah, I mean, you've got some people who just kind of do that, open Starfield.
He's an experienced professional.
Yeah.
Well,
Who didn't even bother to set
maybe
a
not,
backdrop.
maybe not professional.
Well, space is space.
Okay, that's working fine.
Yeah, I think my big accomplishment in the Foundry for the past few days, I finished a map. It was nearly done, but I went ahead and built the finishing touches, added detail, added another room to it. So it's my custom Enterprise J interior for the 26th Century Anthology, which I can work on because part of the show now.
Yeah, so you don't get to be in the contest.
Nope. So don't worry about that, peoples. I'm tweaking around with things just to kind of add as much possible into the anthology. Because, more missions, the better. It's more fun. Just kind of have more little adventures since we're putting a lot into this. And I'm setting my mission up as basically one of the first assignments out. So I've got my... I thought I had my character set, but by the time I get to the project, I might change them around again. But I will want to have Commander Ross in this. That's been fun to write so far. Because it's the Starfleet security captain who has the powers of Q now, basically. He's got temporal investigations behind his back. So, yeah, he's got quite the attitude this time.
I'm still working on some missions as well. I basically kind of envision them more like patrols.
Yeah.
And so I've got the first one. I'm trying to invent some new aliens and make them look as alien as I can.
If you need designs, I've got a bunch I've almost filled up my Taylor bin for 26 for my mission, and including just a lot of miscellaneous aliens that they don't really have much of a backstory, but they're just sort of there. So if you ever need more species designs, I can always throw some slider information at you.
Well, you never know. I might need some.
All right. Well, that worked perfectly.
All right.
Hey!
Good stuff. All right. So let's move on to a ground map. We got a suggestion to build a nightclub. So let's build ourselves a nightclub. A simple one.
Are we doing like a custom dealie?
Sure.
Yeah. And then actually, once we're done that, we can go ahead and test a cryptic map, just to be sure those are working.
I'll build it on the empty map, which is technically a cryptic map.
I was thinking actually some of the interiors, just to get the full spread. Just spawn up the Enterprise J interior, change the backdrop, and put a few things down. Or sorry, not the Enterprise J, but the Enterprise F. Odyssey Bridge.
Let's see. Let's do...
So if you're looking for a random alien ship, I would say the Tal Shiar Mandakar class, which is the destroyer, because they've altered it from what it was originally at the T5 version, and it's even less Romulan looking now than it was.
It's a little grasshopper-y.
Yeah. So if you have like a slightly insectoid race, it could work for them.
Yeah, one of my projects, I've got the Nausicaan siege destroyer, and I'm using the variant when it's actually in siege mode as just a normal ship, and it just flips it around. You can change the hull pattern, and that looks just completely alien. I love it. Although it is taken for 26th century. It's a Sorgot.
It would be great if you could get this thing to fly backwards.
I'll just use the other one.
Doesn't it look like a tick or something?
Change the skin to the upgrade one, because it's a little bit more brownish. Yeah, I'm liking this for some sort of alien.
Yeah. Are you doing the? You're doing the Nausicaan one.
No, the Mandakar.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's super alien. That's super, villain alien.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Starfire Theta's been using those for the Enigma faction.
All right, so back to our nightclub, Dragoon.
Yes. Enough distractions.
Enough distractions.
I might need to get that Tal Shiar ship.
The T5 one I picked up for pretty cheap.
I picked up the T5 one back in the day.
Yeah,
but
so did I, and I never have flown it.
It was fun. I ultimately got rid of that character when I was trying to downgrade, so I actually lost a lockbox ship that way.
Aww.
But for me, it was just
horror.
okay. Oh, the horror! But I, created a similar character later on, gave him the Oline Zindian Insectoid. But if I wanted to pick that one up again, I would. But I would probably go for the tier 6.
Of course.
Yeah, because the Nicor is pretty fun for a tier 5 ship. I just don't know how.
Considering that, I have an unused T5 Infinity box. I was considering getting a Nicor.
Nicor is fun. It's also very well set up for a tier 5 ship. So it's actually the only thing it's missing is an ensign level C. So you're really not losing much. It's got it's a kind of a battlecruiser 4-4 layout, and it's got some pretty nifty hull regeneration and a doom cannon.
The Nightcore was a weird one because of the fact that it has less ensign level seats than most ships, but it has more lieutenant commander level seats.
Yeah, I think
it was strange.
It was one of the last, if not the last, Tier 5 lockbox. So that and the patrol escort did the same thing, where they moved one of the ensign level seats up. So you either get, I think, 2 lieutenant commander slots instead of just 1. So it's very well set up, and it's got universal seating too. So it's a nifty ship. You can do a lot with it. I actually went back to it recently. It's also got a few customization options. And yeah, they did a really good job with that ship. And I'm still, hoping they'll bring it back into Tier 6 when they eventually get around to revamping that lockbox for the consoles.
Mm.
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I think T5U is underrated.
Oh
You
yeah,
can still get some pretty good ships.
Oh yeah, they're perfectly fine.
I want a new fancy hull skin on that one because I like the Nightcore. But I mean, even more customizations on that ship would be great.
So,
as one
while
person said, the only real difference between T5U and T6, assuming you actually have ship traits to slot, that is that T5U does not have specialty seating. And that's it.
It's also -1 officer too, so you're down 1 BOF slot and spec seating. And the down 1 BOF slot is the one that hits most. Spec seating, you can easily go without that, especially now that there's a lot more bridge officer training manuals coming out. So you have a lot more options with those. But yeah, it is the +1 bridge officer seat that is the main difference. And sometimes that can be a little bit more significant if you're trying to do a complex loadout, because you're going to have to either not do as much or eat into one of your core Healy or TAC powers. You can easily get around it, especially when you're, if you branch out into universal consoles with abilities to help compensate.
Also, these days, maxing out your off cooldown reduction abilities makes it so that having duplicates of powers isn't as useful as it used to be.
Yeah. There's only a couple of ships. Actually, there's only one power that'll run as a duplicate. I never got into that habit, and that's because I like the versatility a lot more. The only one I'll actually do that for is emergency power to or auxiliary power to. Oh, which one is it? It's the one that reduces your cooldowns if you've got the technicians.
Aux to bat.
Aux to bat. There we go. Auxiliary to battery. Because I was thinking
to emergency battery.
Yeah. So I'll run that one doubled up at the lieutenant level, and that's just when I'm actually going for that, because then you can get some pretty good buff cooldowns on that one, and you get to keep the power levels up. So I've got
also there's with the current skill tree setup. Since there are actual specific skills for reducing buff cooldowns, putting a bunch of points into those will actually give you a pretty hefty buff cooldown reduction, even without any abilities to reduce cooldowns.
Yeah. So there's a lot you can do with that, just to kind of build in some more versatility. Yeah, no, nightclub.
So while the Foundry was down, they had the big ship sale.
Ah, yeah.
Well, everything sale, really. And so just for the heck of it, because I had enough Zen for a T6 ship, I ran a little poll on a series of polls online on Twitter. So and people chose for me to get Romulan command cruiser.
Oh yeah, that's
which is an enjoyable ship so far.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a fan of its Federation variant.
Yeah, I really love the Fed variant, and I really like.
I already have the Fed variants.
Yeah, I like the look of the Romulan variants. It's just for me, it's like I went for the pilot ships. That's a little while ago, so I'm actually got enough now for a Tier 6 ship, but I'm waiting. Because it's
I turned control over to the internet. They chose for me, and so I chose to honor their choice.
and they didn't let you down. That's a nifty ship.
Yeah, and it's working out nice. It's a fun character to fly.
And did you got the TAC version?
I did, yes.
Okay, and that actually has a good trait.
In the ship sale, my choice was the new Miracle Worker thingies.
Yeah.
Just because they look really
I was a little tempted to get maybe one of those, one of the round ones.
What?
Well, for me, whenever they do a 9-pack, it's always all or nothing.
Yeah.
Do you like to have the customization options as far as
for me? I was so sad. Yeah.
I mean that's the entire reason why I never bothered getting the T5 the body is because I don't want to get only one or two of them.
Yeah. I was dead set on getting the TAC Klingon variant until I found out it couldn't use cannons. Because
you really wanted a cannon build.
I needed, because that character is running a super awesome cannon torpedo build. And there's a Miracle Worker power that would make that so much better. But the thing is, if I can't use cannons, I can't do that build. So I've got to build something completely different on that character. And even though there's a little bit going there, I want a Miracle Worker ship that is able to run torpedoes. And there's a Romulan version.
In the heresy of using single cannon build instead of dual cannon.
What would actually work a little bit better for a forward-facing build that's not using cannons, dual beam banks, and then you use the, I think it's the Romulan Reinforcements Energy Bridge Officer that reduces, shield absorption when you hit someone with a beam overload. Because
there is actually a interesting use for the Suliban cell ship. And that is that when you go into the bridge, it has these little special DOF missions for recruiting Suliban DOFs. Well, one of the Suliban DOFs has that ability.
Yeah, and that's the species of the officer that you can pick up for the engineering this energy weapons role. But anyway, you can do that as a perfectly viable torpedo build because you're going to use beam overload to make their shields stop working, and then you're going to hit them with a torpedo and kill them. So I did have a lot of fun with that, but I didn't want to try that on a Miracle Worker ship, so I'm waiting for them to... the Zenkathi Dreadnought was perfect.
but I was a little hard to get.
A little hard to get, so I was just like, no, I can't get that. So, I'm waiting right now to see when they're going to put out a Miracle Worker ship in a escort or battlecruiser format. Let's say a Miracle Worker Tier 6 patrol escort would be... It's Christmas for me if Cryptic comes out with that.
Well, let me tell you, if people are on my friends list, if you see me logging in and out a lot, it's because I'm doing Admiralty in order to grind as much dilithium as I can to open as many of those DOF packs as I can.
You're doing that.
I've hoarded a bunch so I can sell them later.
Yeah.
But I still want to try and open some, try and win it.
Well, one thing that I would really, really like them to do is to bring back the Romulan reinforcements thing, because currently the non-Suliban DOFs from that are unobtainable.
Well, we got the Romulan reinforcements pack. Or the Romulan Survivors pack.
Well, that's what I mean. Is that the Survivor pack?
Yeah.
Because the Actimarians are only available from that, and Fed Romulans. Well, okay. There's one you can get from the cluster mission, but that's a unique DOF. Yeah. And other than that, Fed and Klingon Romulan DOFs don't exist.
Yeah. So that is out. So if you go to the exchange right now, you can probably pick them up pretty cheap because people are going to be getting lots of these promo packs, just offloading as much as they can from them. So that's actually pushed down prices a lot. So you can get now the security officer that increases melee critical severity. Those have gotten down quite a lot now. So now is actually a good time to be picking up duty officers if you need them, because the market's flooded.
Yeah, because with those, actual availability in terms of usability never went away completely. It's just that only people with Suliban cell ships could get them. Yeah. And that was the only source of
Yeah, so it's been. I think this has been a really nice promo, just to try to change focus from R&D and to really sort of spark up the duty officer market again. I'm gonna jump into SSF project because I'm just piddling around with character designs, and that pack is full, and so is 26th Century.
And of course, Greendragoon is piddling around with Earth space stock assets.
I just realized I could also.
You told me to make a club.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
it's the easy
sure
club
did.
pieces. Although I was actually going to use these for in a Power Ranger spoof of like using these as part of the command center.
I still want to do that Stargate SG-1 parody. By Cody and Gate.
Oh, you know, you could do it as a Dyson Joint Command, like exploring a Codian gateway, and then that's the unit, and then
you know what our object we have as a Foundry asset that really looks like a Stargate?
the big wheel.
No.
Oh, or the Bajoran.
Yeah,
doorway?
those round
Bajoran.
Bajoran doorways.
You got to build around it though, because otherwise, you know, from the side it looks a little weird.
Yeah. A lot of the time, Stargates were, you know,
we're creative.
Set.
We can do
Yeah.
these things. Actually, the in this particular project with Dragoon previewed earlier was one that we did. We did one of those 70s art map building challenges of a ring station around a planet, which kind of ended up looking like a Supergate.
Yep.
If you remember those from the later seasons of SG-1.
believe it or not, there was actually only one Supergate ever seen in the TV show.
That's true.
Of course, the interesting thing with the Supergate is the fact that it was modular and could be assembled rather quickly. Because apparently,
by little modules that would go through fit through the regular gates.
Yeah, each of the modules was about the size of a shuttlecraft, and then that they would just like fly through the gate in a swarm, and then arrange themselves into a circle, and then activate.
Hallowed are the Ori.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also hated, but you know.
If it wasn't that, it was kneel before your god. Now I'm starting to think that Stargate had a theme going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
God aliens.
a lot of
they
things
suck.
where that was really a major theme, is that super aliens that were like kneel before me.
Of course, I have
and it
my
wasn't the kneel before
faux
Zod
Gould
kind of
and
kneel
Jaffa
either.
that I made in the Foundry.
Well, Jaffa is nice and easy.
Well, I meant I did like the full armor, so I was kind of using some of
Mm.
the cheat.
The options that we have in the Foundry that we don't have in game. You know, mix and matches.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got a few options beyond that too.
Do you guys have the broken officer or the broken?
Yeah, I
costumes?
used the broken officer. So I was like using parts from the the EV suit combined with the like helmet from the honor guard and stuff like that to kind of make like this kind of like the original Stargate movie where they had the Horus guard.
Yeah. Oh, the original Stargate movie. That's a classic.
And I heard that the new series, they're actually using that as basically the only thing that they treat as canon, and just like doing like a completely different take on the whole franchise.
Yeah, if it happens. I haven't heard anything about it in a long time.
Wait, are we talking about that prequel series that they announced?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that. Okay, that. Well, yeah, I mean, it's because it's before everything else, other than the very first scene of the movie. So that actually should be coming out fairly soon because I think they have wrapped photography.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I get the feeling that the people writing it had just kind of like run out of ideas and stuff. Oh well.
Dragoons are going a very long way away.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what happened to my my lobby lights, and I can't find them.
I have the wrong Z value.
Well,
No. I've tried several nearby, and I couldn't see them from a distance, so I don't know if they're like super high or super low or super.
Yeah. Did you try? Did you just try looking at it from different angles inside the place?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking all around and I didn't see them anywhere. So their offset must be huge.
You could try my old favorite trick for finding misplaced assets, which is set it as an interact objective so you can scan for it.
That's actually quite clever.
Yeah,
I've actually been doing that for a long time. I started doing that because I did this one interior map where I wasn't sure if the object was above the ceiling or below the floor or stuck in the wall. And I just had absolutely no idea. And just, after scratching my head for it, I'm like, okay, so what can I possibly do to make it so I can figure out which direction it is? And that was the only idea that popped in my head.
Anyway, I mean, the reason I was originally building this is it seems that ground maps are working perfectly fine now too. I don't think there's. I don't think we're going to have any issues in this kind of area.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and you've been able to preview this just fine as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you guys can't see it because it doesn't. But yeah, the game capture doesn't capture, but
yeah.
But here's kind of my thing is that you've been doing this over and over and over again, and the crash hasn't come back.
Well, I mean, one time in the last week, I had an utterly random game crash that I don't have a reason for it at all. I mean, because what it was is I was just like flying from one sector to another, hit the map, transfer, boom, straight to desktop. But that was the only time it's happened. I mean, I've done the exact same thing multiple times since then, and it hasn't recurred.
Yeah, right. And unfortunately, that makes it harder to pin down if you're doing the same thing and it doesn't crash again.
I've just been noticing something really hilarious while doing the Kaskari fishing. The grunting sounds that your character makes as part of it, it doesn't always do the right gender.
Are you sure it's not like people around you?
There is no one around me. There's only 2 or 3 people in the instance. At least 2 or 3 people doing the fishing.
Okay, so anything else that you guys want me to test? Or we want to move on to other things?
I
think we kind of hit the bases. I mean, everything seems to be working fine.
Covered.
You could try looking through the asset list to see if there's any new stuff.
That could take a very while.
I don't think it's terribly likely. I'll tell you what we do. Let's have a little fun. Let's go and do some winter event stuff, just for the heck of it.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. Well, another thing about one thing that I was specifically thinking of earlier was looking to see if there's any assets specific to the winter event, because didn't Zero add Snorg at some point?
I believe the snowmen got added.
In the NPC list are the snowmen, the snowborg, or whatever they are. Let's see.
Because well, I was wondering if maybe the Kaskari is in there.
Oh, it'd be very interesting if that was.
Even if it's only as like a costume or something.
All right, let's load up instance 29.
I'm finishing something up.
Oh, you mean you're not going to come back to instance 35?
Well, instance 29 had almost nobody in it.
Oh. Well, okay, I could... Well, yeah, because I'm kind of in the middle of Kaskari fishing in 35. Also, Spiritborn and some of the other people are still here, too.
Well, let me see if I can get back into that one.
Probably, because
there's
not very many people
There's
here.
not very many people. Okay, so 35. See, they gave you a free gauntlet, don't they?
Yeah. Also, it's questionable as to whether getting the upgraded gauntlets is actually worth it. Then again, the upgraded gauntlets cost about as much as the toy guns for shooting snowmen, so...
I got it.
Of course he did.
Well, what I was saying about it being questionable, though, is that the huge fish will temporarily immobilize you, which kind of reduces the number of fish you catch in the event.
It's a big fish. Extra stuff for it.
Not really. That's the thing. It seems to make it less likely for you to get an ornament fragment instead of an ornament, but that there's only two possibilities for when you throw in fish, is either getting a whole ornament or an ornament fragment. Huge fish and monstrous fish don't seem to give you ornament fragments.
Oh wow! Put me up
The
with
small
the
ones usually are ornament fragments.
Instant 29, right?
35.
35, sorry. Where we left all our friends when we went into the Foundry. I have to say something I really liked about their new event, the little
Krampus hunt.
Yeah, if you get the Nerf gun and you shoot them, the little dart sticks to their face. Shoot them with the secondary fire.
Oh, there's also a really neat touch that I noticed with when I was doing the Cones of Conduct one today, is that TOS characters will actually use a different phaser animation than regular Starfleet. They will actually use a TOS phaser beam animation instead of the regular one. Which is weird because of the fact that apparently KDF characters use the standard Federation one. Oh well. Yeah, with this thing, I like to just like stay at maximum weapons range, and just unless it's doing that ice spit attack, I don't bother moving. There's really no point. Unless you're one of those characters who has dumping caltrops, because dumping candy cane caltrops, that actually does something.
So I got to be honest, I totally want to use the ice fishing gauntlet as a weapon. Just go around punching people.
That actually got brought up on the forums repeatedly last year. It just looks like the sort of thing that would really, really hurt. let's face it, it's designed for breaking ice. Yeah, most things that work for breaking ice also work for breaking bones. You should just,
I don't want to know how you know that.
well, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
I'm finally in the game. I think this is the right instance. Oh, it isn't.
You'll see people in your friends list.
Yeah. Oh, running the wrong direction.
That might be another advantage to the upgraded gauntlets is being able to pacify fish faster.
Mm-hmm.
Budleaf says it looks cooler as well.
That too.
I have the sword on one of my characters, and the spikes on that thing. Ouch.
I just want to run around punching people in the face with it, yelling, "You have failed this Starfleet."
Frosty boots are good to have for this one because you do have more traction.
Yeah, but they kind of they disappear as soon as you do anything combat related.
That's
you have to reactivate them repeatedly, but oh well.
My character is very proud that they pulled out the really, really tiny fish.
I've got a fish stick.
It's a bite-sized one. I don't need to chop it up before I eat it.
Tiny fish.
Also, I discovered a fun bug that is occasionally useful. Namely that if you do the interact with a fishing spot right before the fishing spot disappears, as soon as the fishing spot disappears, the animation will stop playing and you'll automatically catch the fish.
Punch, punch, punch. Run, run, run.
We don't make any money here at Foundry Roundtable, so this is how we get our dinner.
Although because this is all, just candy, we are going to get diabetes.
Well, I mean, so some kinds of candy aren't made entirely out of sugar.
I assume this is supposed to be a Swedish fish kind of a thing.
Yeah. Those are actually not one of the more excessively sweet ones.
But we are getting giant, 400-pound fish.
Yeah, but there's nothing that says you have to eat the whole thing in one day.
Yeah, this has to last us the other 11 months.
Oh boy.
Quick, 37 seconds.
Kill it.
A terrible time to have a fish on my head.
Is there ever a good time for that?
Right when the round ends.
Ugh.
Hopefully you at least got a ornament for depositing it in the bowl.
Yep. Got it in there.
10, 9, 8. Yeah, we're doomed. Oh, wow. Another 15 seconds and we'd probably have it, but...
Yeah. I put a turret down and it's helping.
I summoned minions. Wait, what? Oh, okay, overtime.
Yeah, I think it might let us finish this one.
Yay.
Yeah, that reminds me, Seth. This time, bosses haven't been automatically despawning when timers run out.
That's different. The timer. Yeah, it's the there's the there's a 1 minute gap between when the round quote ends and when the next one begins. So notice we've still got all that time.
I guess because I've noticed that with one of the Overlord fights is that he got summoned and he didn't immediately disappear like he used to.
Okay, Cranberry's up next.
Yeah.
Aha.
So, did you guys
yes.
hear that we got a new food item and a new tribble in the game?
Aha. Yeah, I did see that.
I was seeing something about that today. Yeah.
Cream Soda makes a special tribble that is called. Oh, also, there's a teleport to Crampiri button.
It's called the Daring Tribble. But what's special about this is it is specifically a Shield of Tomorrow reference.
Yeah, that was really, really cool.
So yeah, one of the characters on Shield of Tomorrow is a avid cream soda drinker, and
yeah, Bajoran, same hair color as the Tribble.
Yeah, and in fact,
Interesting.
if you read the description, I'll try to pull up here real quick before.
7 seconds.
It actually describes like how it was found and mentions the doctor, and so yeah, it's.
Aha.
So for the boxes, you have to interact with them when the enemies are not shooting at you. If the Krampus or the elves are shooting at you, don't bother.
Oh wait, Neelix.
Boxes.
Also, everyone gets points for it when you open boxes. I mean, only the person who opened the box is actually.
Uh-oh, I've angered him.
Yeah.
I did during downtime. I wrote a Starfleet Security Christmas special, Santa Claus versus the Cranberry, and I tried to find a Star Trek style ending for that.
He's not evil. He's misunderstood.
Oh no, he sacked Jigoro. Actually, it was the Cranberry are actually part of a alien ecology, and Scanta defeated it by just pointing out that, hey, there's a Cranberry here who's kind of vulnerable to competition, and then one of the other Cranberry came and hit it with a birch bundle.
This is interesting because one thing I noticed from one of these fights is that either they had an unused section of the map previously, or they added a few new sections of map to make the Crampiri fight more interesting.
Well, this one is from a previous event. Jess, are they still?
This is the
Codes of Contact.
This isn't the area I'm talking about, though. There's one spot on the side of a hillside where there's this zigzagged path that zigzags up the hillside to a like a ledge, a rather large ledge that I don't remember being there before.
Yeah, that might be new.
It's actually next to the Tides of Ice map.
Yeah, I did notice that. I don't think that was there before.
Yeah, we went up there. We went up there the first time I tried this event.
Yeah. And Heathen Dog asked in chat, and I typed in there, but I just wanted to get a little bit more elaboration in. Winter event items can all be accessed from the Reputation store. You just go to Event section, Store tab, and so long as basically you did that welcome assignment from Q, you get all the gear there. You can also visit the contact in the gazebo and get all that. For weaponry, I like the dual pistols. That's kind of my favorite. The Nerf gun is good, and particularly good against the Crampiri, but in some of the other events, it can be a little hard to use.
In some of the other events, you want something with area effect.
Yeah. And then for more abilities, you can get the devices, too. And those will just provide you with additional firepower, kind of like kit modules, but they'll have a much longer cooldown.
What Iridian has been using is the gingerbread backup device. So I can summon a pair of gingerbread men to help fight. And the avalanche, which is an old school snowball weapon because it's one of the original two.
Yeah. Right now,
it has a huge area of effect on the secondary fire, and it usually one-shots the small enemies.
Yeah, I'm using the full auto rifle flurry, and that one I like too. Dual pistols though, I don't know. It's just they really respond quickly, and the way damage works, they are really powerful still. So yeah, the dual pistols are I would recommend them as like your first.
I think
weapon.
my only complaint against the dual pistols is their range is very short. Whereas you get something like the flurry, and that's got.
Oh yeah, a little bit longer range.
Yeah.
I think that the dual pistols do slightly more damage.
Yeah, they're trade-offs to each.
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, that's what kind of my thing on them. It's like hey, you just kind of run around, and especially if you're like using a Santa costume, it's like Santa's come to kick some ass.
I can see him running around with the candy cane batleth.
Get the presents. We got 15 seconds left. Open presents. We're not going to get the current here again, but yeah, make sure you get all of those presents.
I think we got them all.
Yeah. He's got his big stick.
Also, apparently the Black Nanopulse Batleth, or Mechleth rather. Ooh, 11 for the final reward. Nice.
Hey.
Apparently the Black Mechleth is actually usable when you're fighting the Krampiri.
Oh, nice. I was going to get it for my new Fed Klingon Starfleet Dragoon character.
One thing on that one is that Cryptic said that it might not cause any damage. Because its combat works differently, and there's no one to fight here, and they basically fake combat through other means. But melee weapons require a valid target to use, or the melee weapons that we typically use. So, yeah, that Mechleth, it'll work outside in normal combat, and it'll probably do animations. It's just that I don't know if it'll actually deal damage. You might want to test it on the lore guys.
Personally.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out which character I want to get it on, because I definitely want to have someone use the thing. Yeah. Just because it's cool.
Oh, the character I'd use it on already has the Nakul sword. It's just like, Black Mechleth is cool, but I would need a Klingon melee, and I just don't have that.
I know who I want to use it on. Be right back.
Store bits. Let's see, is there anything I need? No, I kind of got everything I wanted.
Obviously, the kit mods are good.
Oh, did you see the new one this year? The Ice Vision?
I did not.
It's basically the special buff power that the Marine Bridge officers have.
Except for more festive, too, with the visual effects. There's also, this is the one I picked up, is the Winter Snow outfit, which is the Wesley Crusher ski suit from one of the early TNGs.
Mm-hmm. That's an amusing costume.
Unfortunately, it does unlock it to the off-duty outfits right now. So it's not usable on buffs, but it does unlock the headband, which is usable for everyone. So if you want, headband for all your officers, it's still worth it.
That's actually one of those weird things, because there are several things where certain pieces of the costume unlock for general use, but only a few pieces. Like someone was talking about the Zambian outfit, which apparently is not usable by Caitians or by female bridge officers, but it is usable by male bridge officers. With the caveat of the fact that the hood is apparently usable by everyone.
Yeah, headwear usually goes for everyone without issue. It's the lower options. Sometimes there can be clipping issues, and Cryptic generally does try to test for that. There also might be unintended unlocking or locking. So definitely whenever you encounter something like that, bring it up on the forums. And if it is an oversight, then Cryptic might be able to do something about it. But sometimes there is a clipping issue. And rather than going through everything and fixing it, which is sometimes just they can't do it, they'll leave it locked for some things and unlocked for others, and that generally applies to some of the sort of the odd cases where it's like, wait, why is this usable here? Oh, and that's the case with some of the Zankethi armor. For some reason, the bridge officers don't have the ability to use a category, but there are pieces of the Zankethi armor that do unlock for people, or just as general items. Not all of them, you don't get the chest piece, but the other stuff does. And that can be...
weird.
It can be weird, but it does still give you some ability to kit bash. So it's not a complete waste if you pick it up. It's like, oh, I can't use this for my options. It's like, oh, you just can't use the full armor. But you do get some of the more interesting pieces to kit bash with.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, one thing that is hardest to work with are the things where it's a one and done costume. Those are just yeah.
And Cryptic has been trying to do a little bit less of those. Like, we got the temporal armor for the reputation set. That's like, okay, that's locked off, but the other ones have been nicely usable. Especially, like, I was really impressed with the duelist set, and I hope they eventually get that one in the Foundry. Because that would be really, really interesting for kit bashing.
Black Nanopulse Mechleth.
Now begins the most dangerous game. Hunting snowmen.
I remember the first, well, it's technically the second Winter Festival. Because, the first one was almost nothing to the Winter Festival.
I was digging through snow piles and like, oh, I got an item.
Yeah.
I don't remember hardly what there was that first time.
There was almost nothing. There was like almost no. Yeah. There was just the race, and then almost nothing else.
Yeah.
It was the same year they introduced lock boxes, or as they were calling it at the time, grab bags. Yeah, but it was during the
Jem'Hadar.
Fighter
was the first ship.
Yeah, that was just before
the bug ship.
I got on board, because my first lockbox was the Cardassian one.
Yeah, they were literally prepping for the free-to-play conversion at the time.
Yeah.
The basic premise of the way that the box worked really did seem to be kind of like them tinkering with it. Also, one thing I would really like is if they would fix that spawning bug.
Which one?
The one where the snowmen don't respawn properly.
Well, sometimes it kind of forces you just to kind of go out and try to hunt down.
Yeah, I know.
Ones.
That's interesting and all, but
and
it's kind of annoying when you hear them respawn. You see the red dots blink into existence on the mini-map, and yet there are no enemies to fight.
Yeah, they'll respawn during the boss stage. When you're trying to do something else, and it's like, damn it, Snowman, why are you doing this? Yeah, I'm coming to help.
This is cool. The outline of the Mechleth when you are
Yeah, I helped.
It is doing damage to Snowman. It's just that the amount of damage is so pitiful that it's not worth it. Because you have to do something like 50,000 damage to the snowmen to kill them, and doing 1,000 damage at a time to them is nothing.
You need to use the special Q weapons.
But yeah, so the first year they basically there was almost nothing to do other than the daily race, and then a bunch of snowmen all around. And then the second year, the joke was that all the snowmen suddenly came to life and attacked.
And also the first year, the holiday trinkets. Wait, what the heck? No way. The boss blinked out of existence.
Hasn't come up yet.
Yeah, we haven't spawned the boss yet.
No, I just got the rewards for the boss stage.
That's odd.
Yeah.
Look at the map. There's no circle.
I've got a circle.
I've got a circle.
I've got a circle too.
What instance are you in?
It.
You should be in the same one we are.
Okay.
Oh, I may not be in the same instance you guys are. I just realized I relogged and I forgot to check the instance number.
Yeah, we're in 35, so it may have glitched out for you.
Yeah, in this one, the Overlord seemed to die almost as soon as he was spawned.
Yeah, and that could just be a glitch. Pax is suggesting that he wants PvP ground hockey. That would be interesting.
Tribble hockey.
What I want is tardigrade tobogganing.
You just want a tardigrade.
Well, tardigrade tobogganing. No. Tardigrade tobogganing in particular, though. Come on. It's funny. alliteration, and
It's funny.
say-
Laugh. I don't even know.
You will enjoy my jokes.
Or will I?
you'll be it'll be good for the first day, second day. It's like, okay, it's a thing. Third day, okay, it's a thing. I'm still laughing. I'm still laughing by day 16. It's just like, I want tardigrades to die. I will never look at a toboggan again.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have a specific, this would be awesome for the winter event. Summer event, I want pearl diving.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, see, because that other instance I was in, I had the message that it plays when the bosses spawn. That pop up that says a giant snowman has appeared on the lake, and then immediately after that, I got the rewards for that you get when the snowman dies.
For pearl diving, do you kind of imagine that it's like similar to Klingon ice fishing, where you're just on the water and you go to a particular spot?
Well, because otherwise they would have to develop a swimming mechanic.
Yeah.
If you've played Champions Online, they have it. They have an entire
they do.
realm.
So they could perhaps port some things.
I'm never going to pretend it is that easy,
doable.
but it has been done in the engine.
Yeah. Well, I think that'll do it for us today, guys. I think we're probably going to take a break for Christmas season here, but we will be back soon after that with the 26th Century Mission Building Challenge.
So happy Foundry back. We'll be back in a while.
Happy Foundry's back. Goodbye.
Our job is done.
So, everybody, deserves some time around the holidays, go see family and whatnot. So, we'll be back to normal shenanigans after that.
Cool.
But for now, Dragoon, if you want to put up our contact information.
Yeah. We can be reached by email at foundryroundtable@live.com. We are also on Twitter at Foundry Roundtab. Drogyn can be reached at Drogyn1701. Duncan can be reached at Gorgonops_SSF. Mark can be reached at Markhawkman. And I, of course, can be reached at Greendragoon.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, and we will say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.